of the other concerns I have, and maybe I shouldn't after you're explaining it, but with the stabilization program, I'm wondering how we will be differentiating between the grants that we deal with every year by the city, and it's done through city staff. We're now going to have an art stabilization program, and we also have the Mississauga Community Foundation, which has funds from the Mayor's Gala that will be designated in a granting process when it begins to reach some additional money to the arts groups. So we have 3 different groups now with the Art Stabilization Fund: the city, and whoever is in charge of the Art Stabilization Group, and the Mississauga Community Foundation, all going to be in a position to grant or donate money. And to me, that gets us into a lot of trouble with duplication.
Absolutely, and you're making an excellent point. If you remember the slide earlier in just presentation that talked about the criteria for an art stabilization fund, I think that's probably one of the most important slides in the presentation, and here's why. Good arts and cultural funding should be funding arts on merit. If you have a great dance company, or you have a Muslim cultural festival, or you have a symphony, and it's doing some things really well, your arts funding from the city, the arts and cultural funding, should be funding on merit, right? So these arts organizations know that as they're doing great cultural work, that their funding review for funding is going to be based on the merit of the program. So a great program should be rewarded from the city government, recognizing that and being funded and enhanced funding based on the cultural merit of the program. What often happens in municipalities is the local opera company goes and gets into trouble financially, and then the arts and cultural funding isn't funding because it has a great program. As a matter of fact, it can reward it for having a bad program because it's in so much trouble. Teary-eyed volunteers come before City Council or the Arts Board and the Arts Culture Board saying, we've been working our hearts out, our program isn't getting any legs, so they get a whole lot more money and they're rewarded for having an unsuccessful program.
I like your stabilization. I think it is the answer, one of the answers to the situation. And I only wish I knew about it before I turned my money over to the Community Foundation. Because last year I lost $28,000 out of my funding, and no interest on it. When it was left with the city, I was getting 3% interest on a couple of $1 million, which is nothing to. So instead, last year I lost $28,000 out of the capital, which is unfortunate. I would have loved to have turned that over to it, not all of it, maybe to the stabilization fund to start. So I regret that this only came forward now, but one of the things that I think the way you've explained the process.
Now in its 25th year, raised millions of dollars to support the arts, culture, and heritage in the community.
Because saying it makes it so.
Don't crash the ambulance. Whatever you do.